Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment. You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D-18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my internet fans. Welcome to another edition of Stat Boy Sports Bar for May 28th, 2024. Summer is officially started because of Memorial Day weekend. In memory of all the fallen soldiers, that's what Memorial Day is all about. So get those barbecue grill out, and I hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend. Before we get into the news, I did this last week, so it kind of worked last week. So I'll tell a couple quick stories before we get into the lineup, as we call it each week. So this past week in Sevier County, we have a homage, a museum to the classic show, The Dukes of Hazzard. It's called Cooter's Garage. And outside, of course, they have a replica of the General Lee, and on the inside they have another replica as well. And it is actually owned and run by the actor who played Cooter in the Dukes of Hazzard. Names offhand, but I'm sorry about that. But they announced and put together a meet and greet for Tom Wopat. You know him as Luke Duke. For those who couldn't tell, that's actually Bo Duke, excuse me. Luke was John Schneider. So they said, come on out May 25th, May 26th, 11 to 4. Come out and meet Tom Wopat. So I got there a little bit late. I got there at 11:45 and had to be at work at 2 o'clock. And they didn't give out all of the details. Now, anybody in the Multiverse of Media knows that Renegade and I and Jeff and our family, we would go to these meet and greets to meet WWE superstars. It's the same thing, but it's with movie stars and television stars. So the thing came out on Facebook, come on down. They didn't give all the details. So there's a line outside letting people in. And if you do come out to Pigeon Forge and you do see it, you get to see replicas of the Boar's Nest. They have a Catherine Bach's Jeep named Dixie, and all the General Lee merchandise. The thing was, though, that it cost $40 to meet him, and you could not use your own camera. What they would do is they would take the picture, they would print the picture out, and he would sign it. It's a great deal, but a lot of people, they just like to click, be done with it, post selfies and all that other stuff. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet him because I guess I got there late. I waited, and by the time I got into the museum, I then had to leave and go to work because I didn't have my car that day. So I had to Uber to get to work. It's a little disappointing, but hey, it happens. I could have planned a little better, but it's not the end of the world. So coming up this weekend, though, and I've talked about this before, is the Rise Up Con. This is the faith-based convention in Sevierville. And I'll probably and hopefully get to meet Tom's TV brother, John Schneider. And hopefully next week's show, I'll get some clips and things like that. I've been planning this one for a while. It is going to cost a little bit of money, but hey, it happens. Also, as many of you know, and on my social media, that I also drive for Instacart along with my regular job. It's still brand new to me. I've only been doing it for about 2 weeks, but it is almost profitable. The money I get, of course, helps put gas in the tank, and it helps pay the bills. It's still a slow process. I'm also learning things about Instacart, and I've also learned that there are tons of mountainous roads in Sevier County that I've never even knew existed. I'm almost tempted to take my phone when I'm driving and record myself driving these roads. If you think the back roads in the woods are bad, I'm not saying the back roads in the mountains of Tennessee are bad, but it's almost like a roller coaster. You're going up, down, left, right, and every which way possible. But in today's batches, because an order on Instacart is a batch, what they can do is they can send me to 2 different places for 2 different orders with 2 different deliveries. Okay, no big thing there. They sent me to a local Home Depot, and I ended up buying this. It might look like a light bulb, but what it really is you put this in your swimming pool or your hot tub, and you put chlorinated tablets or whatever, and it floats and all that. So they said, go to the Home Depot, buy this, then go to your local Kroger, or the one we send you to, and buy groceries. Not a problem. I got the address for the customer of this, put it in my GPS, can't find the address. I go where it says to me to go. It's like a private road that's been blocked off. It's like private property. And because I'm up in the mountains, my service is null and void. It's not there. I had to literally drive back down the mountain, and there were 3 churches along this mountain road. Call up Instacart. Hey, I can't find this guy. They said, don't worry, Michael. It's not a big thing. We'll just cancel the order. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what about the groceries? They're like, go deliver the groceries. Deliver the groceries. And with Instacart, you're not really supposed to knock on the door unless the customer says it's okay. But because I was going around all over creation to deliver this floating device, I wanted to apologize to them. Unfortunately, they didn't answer the door. No big thing. I delivered the groceries and ended my day. So that's what's happening with me lately. It's life. It's a thing, I am also approved to drive for Uber, but I have not yet taken any Uber Eats orders or actual passengers yet. I'm a little worried about that. I don't know how that's going to go because I have been a passenger with Uber for quite a long time. I don't know how it's going to be with me driving yet. if I don't do it soon enough, I don't know what Uber's going to say. Hey, you might need to make a decision, but we'll see what happens. The one thing I don't want to have happen, and this happened on social media to somebody. Somebody got into someone's car and literally started complaining as soon as the car pulled out of the driveway. Every possible complaint you could think of under the sun. Luckily, the guy was recording it, and of course, he was in the right, she was in the wrong. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to go viral for the wrong reasons. I want to go viral for the right reasons. But let's face it, when I botch on this show, I go viral. Who can say? All righty. Enough ranting from me. Let's get on with the show, and let's get on with the stats, and let's get on with the news, and let's bring in Mr. Rant Incoming. The fantasy god, DJ Mud King, is in the sports bar one more week. He's upset about something, but he says he has a joke. What's your joke?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for my opening act, Stat Boy Mike. Oh, no, I'm joking. Calm down.
That's a good joke. That's a very good joke.
Gotta break the tension, baby.
Gotta break the tension somehow. All right, you got me. All right, let me bring up this real quick. And that's not the right one right now. We got to go to that. And our leadoff story coming in first. Sad news out of the PGA Tour, as PGA golfer and winner of this year's Sony Open in Hawaii, Grayson Murray, has passed away at the age of 30. This happened, I believe, Saturday morning, just prior to either round 1 or round 2 of the Charles Schwab Invitational that took place. This is a statement from Eric and Terry Murray. I believe these are Grayson's parents. This statement came out on Sunday. We have spent the last 24 hours trying to come to terms with the fact that our son is gone. It's surreal that we not only have to admit it ourselves, but that we also have to acknowledge it to the world. It's a nightmare. We have so many questions that have no answers, but one. Was Grayson loved? The answer is yes. By us, his brother Cameron, his sister Erica, all of his extended family, by his friends, by his fellow players, and it seems by many of you who are reading this. He was loved, and he will be missed. We would like to thank the PGA Tour and the entire world of golf for the outpouring of support. Life wasn't always easy for Grayson, and although he took his own life, we know he rests peacefully now. Please respect our privacy as we work through this incredible tragedy, and please honor Grayson by being kind to one another. If that becomes his legacy, we could ask for nothing else. Of course, below the picture there is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you know of anybody, or if you yourself are in a crisis, do not hesitate to dial those 3 numbers. 988 will save your life just as much as 911 will. There are people there to help. There are people there to listen. And there are people that will help you get through what you need to get through. I can't stress that enough. I tragically lost a brother of mine all the way back in 1999. He was on the level as Renegade and Jeff are to me now. He was the very first person that loved wrestling more than I did. I've talked about him greatly. I went to his house and I would fill up on pizzas and sodas, and sadly he was murdered by his father, and his father committed suicide. So it was a tragic way for me to lose a brother. But like I say, I cannot stress that enough. Dial those numbers, 988 and 911 if necessary. Whew. The Charles Schwab Challenge took place in Fort Worth, Texas. Your winner is Davis Riley, and this report comes directly from PGA.com. Davis Riley shot an even par 70 while playing in the final group on Sunday with Scotty Scheffler, and still won the Charles Schwab Challenge by 5 strokes over the world's #1 player and Keegan Bradley for his first individual victory on the PGA Tour. Riley finished at 14 under 266 after rolling in a 6-foot par on the final hole at Colonial Country Club. Bradley had a closing 67, and Scheffler shot a 71 on a day when he hit only 7 of 14 fairways and didn't have a birdie until the 13th hole. After beginning the final round with a 4-stroke lead, Riley gave up a stroke with a bogey on the second hole when he drove into the right rough and then hit into the bunker. But that was the closest Scheffler or anybody else would get, with wind gusts of 20 miles per hour and more blowing throughout the day. Also, check out the car. That is his car. This is a completely, fully restored and modernized 1975 Schwab Stingray. It looks like it's a 2024, but that car is amazing. As much as we like to bash and talk ill of what is known as Rod Run, where you see classic cars, that is one of the most badass cars I've ever seen. I don't know much about a Schwab Stingray, but wow. I think I would like it a little bit more if it was red, because I like red cars as opposed to blue cars. You know, the cherry apple red, but damn, that car is amazing.
Fire.
Exactly, a fire. It's on fire, man. What's your classic car, Zach? You got a classic car that you've always wanted?
That's interesting.
Nothing.
76 Cutlass.
Ooh, the 76 Cutlass. That's a good one. I also loved my grandfather's car. He had a Cadillac Seville that I just fell in love with, and I was only maybe 9, 10, 11 years old at the time, and I said, "Grandpa, can I have this car?" He's like, "No, you're not touching my car, boy. No way, no how." The ladies are not playing this week. They are playing next week. The Geneva Open took place on the ATP Tour in Geneva, Switzerland. Casper Ruud won that matchup. There's your top 8. Yannick Sinner still leads. Alexander Zverev at 31.35. Yannick Sinner's at 45.50. Daniel Medvedev at 3,000. Casper Ruud's in 4th place. Andrei Rublev at 21.70. Stefanos Tsitsipas at 21.15. Carlos Alcaraz at 19.50 and Alex de Minaur at 18.65. The big tournament, one of the big four, is currently taking place right now, and that's the French Open at Roland Garros. So there will not be any results next week, but the following week, because it is a 2-week tournament. So there might be smaller tournaments. If there are, I think we'll be focusing mostly on the French Open. At the International de Strasbourg in Strasbourg, France, Madison Keys won that tournament. Iga Swiatek is still your number one at 53.35. Arina Sabalenka at 39.28. Elena Rybakina at 35.83. Danielle Collins at 25.32. Coco Gauff at 23.83. Qinwen Zheng at 20.70. Jelena Ostapenko at 18.89. And Jasmine Paolini at 17.10. All righty. In NASCAR news, we're back after last week's All-Star race. And to quickly touch on that, the punch that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. landed on Kyle Busch, he did get penalized $75,000. Which begs the question, is it worth it? Was it $75,000 for one punch? Unbelievable.
That was an awkward landing punch, too.
Yeah. Jeff and I talked about it last week. It almost looked like he missed and got him in the ear, but it landed, and both parties have decided to move on. They don't want to talk about fighting anymore. So there's that. Christopher Bell was your winner. In fact, let's bring up the story that I have. Where is my story? Come on, there we go. A lightning delay that turned into a heavy rainstorm made a winner of Christopher Bell in Sunday's Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not that Bell didn't deserve the victory in the rain-shortened race, which NASCAR was forced to call after 249 laps were complete. The driver of the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota started third, led a race-high 90 laps, and won the second stage of the 14th NASCAR Cup Series race of the season. After the lightning came heavy rain, and though NASCAR attempted to dry the track when the rain subsided, heavy humidity thwarted efforts to do so in a timely manner. As a result, Bell cut to his second victory of the season, his first on the 1.5-mile Charlotte Oval, and the 8th of his career. Brad Keselowski took second, William Byron third, Tyler Reddick fourth, Denny Hamlin fifth, Ty Gibbs sixth, Chase Elliott seventh, Ross Chastain eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, and Josh Berry, the rookie, and Stewart-Haas Racing 10th. Denny Hamlin is still your number one leader. Unfortunately, some news just broke today, literally about 2 hours ago before we went on air, that the Stewart-Haas Racing team, they're going to close up shop at the end of the season. This is their official statement that was released on social media from Tony Stewart and Gene Haas. We have made the difficult decision to close Stewart-Haas Racing at the conclusion of the 2024 season. It is a decision that did not come easily, nor was it made quickly. Racing is a labor-intensive, humbling sport. It requires unwavering commitment and vast resources with a 365-day mindset to be better than everyone else. It's part of what makes success so rewarding. But the commitment needed to extract maximum performance while providing sustainability is incredibly demanding, and we've reached a point in our respective personal and business lives where it's time to pass the torch. We're proud of all the wins and championships we've earned since joining together in 2009, but even more special is the culture we built and the friendships we forged as we committed to a common cause, winning races and collecting trophies. That is the same commitment we made to our personnel, our partners, and our fans coming into this year, and that commitment will remain throughout the season finale at Phoenix. We have tremendous respect and appreciation for all of our employees, and we will work diligently to assist them during this transition to find new opportunities beyond the 2024 race season. Stewart-Haas has only won 2 championships. Of course, the last one was in 2011. The first was in 2009. They also did win in the Xfinity Series. But if things aren't going well and it's time to pack up shop, Stewart-Haas is done. At least they're yeah, go ahead.
It's disappointing. Like, it seemed like every year we're getting more and more of these like household names. They're not, not like top tier, but they're still household names that are stepping away from the sport. And I'm wondering if like we're gonna go more, or we're gonna see more like commercial teams that we don't, people have, we're always stuck on household teams. That's just how we grew up in the sport,
Yeah, that's your Hendricks, your RCRs, your Penske's. I got you. Go ahead.
Right. But, I just don't want to see NASCAR become like commercial.
Okay, I got you. Well, I mean, what I remember, of course, was all the sponsors on all the cars. That's still going to be a thing no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, Kyle Busch in the 18 M&M's toy in the M&M's car, WCW at the NWO, they had a car at one point, there was even Cheerios on it. So, I mean, it's not fully commercial. I get it. It's the sponsors. So I understand that. And, of course, the 4 drivers, Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, and Ryan Preece, numbers 4, 10, 14, and 41. Hopefully they'll land it on a new team next season as well. Of course, the Xfinity driver that I love saying, Cole Custer in the double aught Ford. That's the only Ford I usually root for, unless it's John Hunter Nemechek. They in the Xfinity they have Cole Custer and Riley Hurst as well. Tony, and of course Tony Stewart. Who remembers the NASCAR commercial with the Big Show when NASCAR and WWE were trying to compete? They tried to get him involved in that, and he's had a great career too. But as said in the constant, all good things must come to an end. And this is the end for Stewart-Haas Racing. The BetMGM 300 took place, and Chevrolet went crazy in the top 6 spots, from Chase Elliott all the way down to Kyle Busch. Ryan Sieg in his Ford, Ty Gibbs in his Toyota, and Noah. It was almost 7 out of 10 cars in the top 10, all Chevrolet. Austin Hill is still your number 1 leader there. And the Truck Series, Nicholas Sanchez in the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 for Rev Racing. He won his. Not much changes in the standings.
Another Chevrolet battle.
Yeah. Like I said, Ford on the streets, Chevy on the track. That's what I say about that. Every time I can, every chance I get. Yeah. All righty. Moving on. Let's just keep rolling along. UFL is in week 9 of week 10. Again, the playoffs are set. San Antonio will play St. Louis. Birmingham will play Michigan. So they're just gearing up for the playoffs. This past weekend, the Renegades beat the Battlehawks 36-22. The Brahmas beat the Stallions 18-9. The Panthers beat the Roughnecks 26-22, and the Defenders beat the Showboats 36-21.
So they lost their first. Oh no, not. Oh God. Here we go.
In the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun are your number 1. Now these stats are not my stats, and they are not StatGirl's rankings. These are actually from. This is the order that the WNBA puts them. Now, I know you're thinking, well, why are the Aces above the Liberty? It goes by percentage. So a team that is 3-1 has a percentage of 75% or 0.750. The Liberty are 4 of 6, which is 0.667. So it goes by percentage. But the Connecticut Sun are your number 1 team at 5-0. The Minnesota Lynx are 4-1. The Aces are 3-1. The Liberty are 4-2. The Wings are 3-2. Now, the Mercury, the Sky, the Dream, and the Storm are all at 500. You would think that the Storm should be the number 6 team at 3-3. It's not. The Mercury is ranked 6th. LA Sparks are 1-4. Indiana Fever did win a game. They are 1-6. The Mystics have yet to win. I think you're about to say something about this, so go ahead.
Okay. Why? Okay. Screw it. I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Why the fuck is this turning into Connor Bedard?
Because remember I jinxed it 2 weeks ago.
You did. It's your fault.
Yeah, it's always my fault. Everything is it's my fault. That's fine.
Who approved this shit, bro? I mean, seriously.
I did.
No, she's got rookie jitters, man. It happens. Like the support around her is not great. It's not great.
It's not great, but it needs to start turning around now. I mean, the season is only 2 weeks in, and it's probably a 10 or 11, 12 or 13, 14, 15. I know it's a 40-game season, so it's at least it's something. But, I mean, come on. It's got to turn around sooner than later, because if it doesn't, my prediction will come true, and I don't want that to happen. Not at all. Give her time. Well, can't give her too much more time.
What the hell are you?
We have the Eastern Conference is finished. We have champions, and of course, it's the Boston Celtics, who easily, without a doubt, had no problem sweeping the Pacers right out of the Eastern Conference Finals, winning last night 105-102. Of course, they won Game 1, 133-128 in overtime, 126-110 in Game 2, and 114-111 in Game 3. Tonight, the Minnesota Timberwolves could suffer the same fate as they are down 3-0. I don't know what's going on with I'm not saying that Minnesota is not playing well. They are putting up points. It's just that Dallas is slightly better. I mean, in game one, Minnesota loses by a 3-point shot. In game two, they lost by a point. Game three, Dallas won by 9. Something's got to kick under the Timberwolves, and they need to do it quickly.
Let's look at Dallas.
Yes, let's.
Okay, Dallas last season. No, there was a lot of controversy at the end of last season because Dallas had a chance to make it into the play-in game, to make it to the playoffs. And in that game that they needed to win to get in, they purposely sat all their starters.
Interesting.
So they purposely did that, and now flip the page 1 year later, they're 1 win away from the NBA Finals. So, you know, I hate to use this term because I don't like it, but I know it's true. I mean, Dallas is the pure example of why you gotta trust the process, man. I mean, and with Minnesota, like Cat and Anthony can't do it all by themselves. You know, they need more help. The Timberwolves have only lost 3 games the entire season when Cat doesn't get into foul trouble.
There you go.
Keep that in mind.
And of course, the game starts in an hour on. I think it's on TNT tonight. It's not. It's on ESPN or one of the other two. Also,
it's on TNT.
Yeah, it's on TNT. Basketball lost a legend just yesterday. Bill Walton, the former, the number 1 draft pick overall in 1974, played for UCLA. Lost a battle with cancer yesterday. So yesterday's game was dedicated to the Boston Celtics, as he did play for Boston in 1985 to 1988. He was a 2-time NBA champion in 1977 with the Portland Trail Blazers, and in 1986 with the Boston Celtics. He was the MVP in 77 in the finals, and then in 78 he was the league MVP. He was an all-star, 2-time All-Star. He had his jersey retired, number 32, by the Trailblazers, 2-time NCAA champion in 72 and 73. He's definitely one of the legends. ESPN put out a nice tribute video of him and Snoop at a recent game. And he was behind the commentary booth. And there's I guess on one of his birthdays, the other commentator gave him a cupcake with a candle in it. And he's like, take a bite of it while it's a flame. And he literally took a bite of the candle. Didn't burn himself or anything, but it was silly to watch. But one of the good ones, one of the legends has gone to the basketball court in the sky.
Man,
so,
you think about pillars of ESPN, like just this is separate from his basketball career, but from like the broadcasting standpoint, you think about the pillars of ESPN. There's Lee Corso, Dick Vitale, Stuart Scott, and Bill Walton. Bill Walton was one of those top pillars that like was a serious change in the game of broadcasting. His energy and level of expertise got people invested, even people who didn't even watch the game. And he took that as motivation and opened his own school in SoCal to train high school and college athletes who weren't, who didn't have top tier offers, who wasn't going on scholarships, and train them to a point to where people could come see them and offer them scholarships. Just his dedication to the game is what, we're truly gonna miss, because there was no heart like his in basketball, man. It's so sad to see him gone.
Indeed, it was. Alrighty, let's continue on, and let me bring up what's happening in ladies hockey. It's all coming down to one game, the final game of the inaugural season of the PWHL. Boston and Minnesota are tied at 2 games each in their best in 5. Game 5 is tomorrow night at 7:00 Eastern. It's on TSN, and YouTube may also stream it live on the PWHL channel. And this is the trophy they are playing for. This is the Walter Cup. As you can see, the sides there come to a point, and they are hockey sticks. And, of course, the PWHL logo there in the middle. And Game 4 was held on Sunday. The game had to go into double overtime. Boston was down 2-1. Boston has come back to tie the series. This all ends tomorrow night. And so next week will be the final report on the PWHL inaugural season. So we'll see who wins this one. It would be great to have the Celtics win the NBA title and possibly PWHL Boston win the Walter Cup, or if the Timberwolves decide to turn things around tonight, have PWHL Minnesota win the Walter Cup, and then have the Timberwolves go into the NBA Finals. We will see. And in the NHL, as the Stanley Cup playoffs continue on, Game 4 between the Panthers and the Rangers. It's 2-1 in favor of New York. Game 4 is tonight in about 20 minutes. Of course, Florida blanked New York in Game 1, 3-0. Then New York won Games 2 and 3. They had to go into overtime in both games to do that. Edmonton and Dallas is also at 2-1. Dallas has the lead in that series. Edmonton won Game 1 in double overtime. Then Dallas decided to turn on the Jets and go 3-1 in Game 2 and 5-3 in Game 3. And Game 4 is tomorrow night. And we'll see where that goes. So probably by next week, if everything goes right, the Stanley Cup playoffs will start. If not, they'll go into a Game 7. And then the week following, we'll start the Stanley Cup playoffs. All righty. So that's basically all I've got for this week. So before we say goodbye, this is your time. I'm gonna back. Oh, he's lighting the smoke. Uh-oh. He's upset about something. Let's see what it's all about.
Let's talk about it,
my friend. Go ahead.
Let's talk about last night. Let's talk about. Well, let's start with WWE for a second here.
All right, go ahead.
WWE pays USA for an overrun for Monday Night Raw. But as of lately, Raw's been going off at right before 10 o'clock or, a couple minutes before 10 o'clock. They barely even make it to that. They paid for a 5-minute overrun.
Mm-hmm.
So last night, after the WWE Women's Championship match concluded, there was a big angle between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
That USA Network did not show in America.
Okay.
Every other country around the world, Canada, Kingdom Come, anywhere you could possibly think of, saw this segment.
Mm-hmm.
So my issue is how does WWE allow USA to Network to do that? That's the $1 million question. You got this is one of the biggest storylines going in WWE right now. Granted, as it's not the storyline you really want to be invested in, but it's a major storyline nonetheless.
Right.
It's just how do you allow that to happen? I get it. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. Everybody has their day. But to cut that off, that's I mean. And now
my concern on this topic as well is what's the future going to hold for Becky Lynch? There are rumors going crazy all over the internet. I'm reading them, and I'm not. They are not. That's what they are until Rebecca Quinn says something. My thought is, if she wants to be done, she's had a great career. She's got a beautiful family. She's earned it. If she wants to step away, let her. If she wants to keep going with it, it's her decision at the end of the day. But to have everyone jumping over conclusions and everything, saying, "Oh my God, what's Becky gonna do? What's Becky gonna do? Is she gonna do this?" You guys are gonna make yourself sick with this project. All right, let it cook. We talk about this all the time. Let it cook. Let it cook. Let it cook. And yes, stuff does happen. There have been times when Raw does go long. I remember way back in the day. It was the very first. It was the Loser Leave Town match between Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair. The match went long. The show went off the air. They had contractual obligations. They showed what happened the next week. Of course, in the sports world, the Heidi incident way back in the day. Do you show the end of the football game, or do you do what the contract says and you do Heidi? They messed up. It's a given. I'm also not too keen on what is Dom doing. I mean, where is this? This is way out of left field. And I'm also excited to hear potentially what Renegade might say about this on this week's open mic night, if that does come up. Let me also quickly praise my brother. If you did not see the watch along for Double or Nothing, go back and watch this. I mean, he did better than me in the rant world, and that's amazing. I love my brother greatly. My ranting skills have diminished over the years. His just skyrocketed. He's essentially, I think he's burying the Young Bucks is what he's doing. I mean, he just does not like them.
Somebody needs to. Somebody fucking like them either. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
No, you done got me started with this whole Young Bucks shit.
What have I done? Go ahead.
If Tony Khan does not get rid of these snotty-nosed little prick marks, they need to go. They need to go. Strip them on the title. Send them the freaking, I don't care. Send them the freaking Wildcat Wrestling or whatever it is. I don't care. Is this storyline with Tony Khan phenomenal? Absolutely.
No.
It is intriguing.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, he's done some dumb things, but to get rid of one of his top teams, if you want to consider them that, he's not that dumb. He has some kind of intelligence left in that head, and that's saying much coming from me, because I've been putting him down since day one, since I found out about everything about him. But if he does that, then you might as well just close up shop and say, I mean, I'm happy MJF came back. God bless MJF for coming back. That can save the company if it is in dire straits, if it is hurting, if it is in trouble, which I don't think
you had a choice.
But I mean,
I wouldn't have branded myself though. That was a little
that show that he truly is, put intended, all in. Because, you know, the rumors of him going to WWE died, I think, mid-February or even in the WrestleMania season. He's back. He's going to stay put. He's happy there, and he's gonna raise more hell, and he's going to stir the pot, and he's going to say whatever he wants, and then the fans will love it. But Tony Khan will never get rid of the Young Bucks. That's not going to happen.
Well, they need to drop the EVP role. Do that at least.
Possibly so, indeed. We'll see where it goes. Good rant. All right. We have done all the news we have done for this week. So let me get rid of that. And coming up for next week, I know there should be a graphic for this. I'm not certain where it is. But next week's Sports Bar will be on Monday, June 3rd. It will not be on June 4th because my job schedules me to work on June 4th. They know I need Tuesdays off. I'm calling it a snafu of some kind. I don't know what happened. I've already cleared this with Jeff. So next week's show will be Monday, June 3rd at 7 o'clock Eastern. If something goes wrong and the show doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that's as far as right now. June 3rd will be next week's show, and potentially June 10th. I'm still working on that one. They have me scheduled to work on June 11th as well, but I work tomorrow. I'll try and figure that out. But for certain, next week, June 4th, 7 o'clock Eastern. All right? Cool. I love you all, family. Follow me on Twitter at LBStatKid1977. Where do they follow you?
At DJ Muck King Official.
There you go.
Fluffy Madden God.
And what's going on with the have you gotten that footage yet with McAfee?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. You don't have that yet?
No. I have it. I just can't. I can't show it.
Oh, McAfee's playing his copyright card. Come on, McAfee.
More like a cease and desist order.
Oh, what? Ooh. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Until next week on Monday, June 3rd at 7 o'clock, I will see you all. I love you, family. Until next week, Stat Boy out.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer